G'day, lads. Welcome to the GreenCast, a podcast by me, Mr. GreenText, where I usually ramble to myself in my bedroom. However, this is not one of the episodes. It is finally that episode that you cunts have been asking me for ages. That episode has been delayed. The Friendship Breakup podcast. It is featuring as well the Three Musketeers, which is a joke that no one will be able to understand until the end of the podcast, most likely. I myself am a musketeer, and I'm joined by my two other musketeers. The first one, who is making the first appearance on my podcast, and you lads probably very eager to hear, I don't know, shit tales from him about me. My roommate, who I'm also not going to name, but I don't know, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
And then making a repeat is skater boy friend. I don't know what I even call you. I call you fucking Arya Stark, I think.
Arya
We can still use that.
Why
because
Arya
I kind of look like her.
Yeah, he's British and kind of looks like her a little bit.
All British people look the same though, so.
Yeah, they do a bit.
Actually, I was talking to a chick on Tinder that looks like Arya Stark.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also the common theme with this man here. How many matches do you have on Tinder?
It's at 2,000 now.
2,000. How long have you had that account?
Probably 4 years. So it's not that
4
good.
years?
It's not that good yet. Oh, maybe 5.
Did you say you'd had it since high school?
Yeah, grade 11. So how long is that? I don't know.
That's like 8 years.
Okay, 8 years then, sure.
That 2 to the 8 right quick. Yeah, so the beginning of this, obviously, we sort of formed this weird friend group that we were literally in for maybe 3 months is the most generous amount of time I could say. And we're going to go through it sort of just chronologically with events that are sort of worth mentioning. We're not going to mention names, obviously, so we're just going to use, like, letters to name people. So if any of those people ever do listen to this podcast, hi. Also, you're kind of a bit of a bastard, weren't you? So, and look, it's been a long enough time, and eat my ass, to be honest. Yeah.
Can I just say I did nothing wrong?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil your musketeer title so far.
Also, it was me who pushed this podcast back so long. I really didn't want to do this, and I finally agreed to it, so here we go.
Look, half the reason I wanted to do this just because I could have the fucking title, How I Destroyed a Friend Group. I thought it would be a great one, and I'm like, I actually need to get the people that were involved in this on the actual podcast, so it's not just me being really sad about stuff. So the first sort of thing that kind of like kicked everything off was we were at one of our friends' birthday parties, and that's when we met two of the people who we're just going to refer to as S and J. And after that party, they just invited us to a movie night the following weekend. And to beginning, it was just myself and him, as well as just a couple other people that aren't really worth mentioning, that aren't really relevant in the story. But it was just like, you know, just watching dumb B-tier movies, like not even like Sharknado. It was the ones that like are self-aware to be shit sci-fi films. Like I think we watched fucking Wolf Cop.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck that was. Yeah. Man literally gets out his wolf cock at one point.
And his penis turns inside out.
Yeah, his penis turns inside out. It's not a good film, and not even like a bad good film. It's just a bad film. Yeah, that was also the time where I got offered weed. Well, I've been offered weed before, but that was the first time. Like I'd arranged. I think I had blow-up mattresses with me in the car. Just in case, so I could be like, oh, if I have weed for the first time, I can
fucking loser,
dude. I can
blow-up
crash.
mattress in the car. He's all prepared.
It was like 40 minutes away, bro. I didn't want to drive back high, and that's a theme that will come in later. So I got offered it. I got offered it, but they're like, oh, actually, this is, it has green tea and tobacco mixed in with this weed as well. And I just thought, I don't know if I want my first time smoking weed to be also laced with tobacco and also green tea, because I'm also just not much of a tea drinker. Yeah, or also just a drinker, yeah. I'm not... Call me a fake Australian. I don't fucking drink alcohol. Sue me. yeah, I don't know. There isn't really much else to say about that. I haven't put it on the board. I didn't realize as well that skater friend Arya Stark. He also just got. We were out skating one night, and I just mentioned I was with him, and then just got added to this big group chat as well, and that's just how he got in there.
Yeah, I mean,
really.
I was an afterthought, but as you'll find out, I was kind of very involved in a lot of the stuff that happens later. So.
And oh yeah, as well. So this group, the one thing I will say that was really fun about it is that I'd never known a more spontaneous group of people in my fucking life. Like, especially at the beginning of the year with this group, specifically Skater Friend. I mean, obviously, fucking live with my roommate. I see him every day, whether I want to or not.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I'd seen this cunt nine
It was
days in a row.
9 or 10 days in a row. I think it was 9 days, and then we saw each other the day after the next. So.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, 80% of those were just like, hey, so-and-so puts in the chat, like, hey, come over, people want to hang, and then like 10 people would show up. It was actually like really cool, and that was great about that. But yeah, we made that friendship group, or like it started to really form, like sort of to the end of December, I'd say, was when it was really starting to come together. And by then, I just ditched all of my friends' plans for New Year's, and we just decided to have our own New Year's with this new friendship group at our place. Which...
That's how much you're invested in these people, I guess, really.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the prospects look good, I think, at the start. It was like some new people have come into our lives, and they were kind of fun, and they were interesting, and they were up for stuff, just randomly. And that was what was good, and I think that's probably why you decided to go New Year's with them.
Yeah, well, I say go New Year's. It was just a thing around our house, and I like to do a thing every year where I make a sparkler bomb, and so I just had a bunch of sparklers laying around. So we just did the degenerate thing of we ran to the park down the street and then set them off, and then failed as New Year started to light it, which was a good sign for the year to come, I'd say, and for the future of the friendship
It's fun.
group.
I skateboarded drunk for the first time.
Oh yeah, true, and that's when we found out that one of the members, Kay, also skates as well. She's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I've got a skateboard in the car." And we're like, "What? You skate?" Because we're always looking for people to skate, and it's always been kind of funny. A quick aside that it's always like one person might join us to skate a couple times, and then we're like, "Oh, fine, they've got an extra person to skate with. This will be fun." And then it just never happens again after that. Or they just forget, they get busy, whatever.
Yeah, it's usually just the two of us. So we maybe skate once, twice a week,
Yeah.
and we'll go skate. Someone will finally kind of join us, and it'll be great for a bit, and then it will just go back to the two of us, and that's how it's always been.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're excited. All these new people, a new person to skate with. It looked great. That night was also the first night that I smoked weed properly, for the first time, and I say properly. It was like 2 a.m. I think at this point. Most people had left or had passed out or whatever, and were gathered round the back table, and they passed it to me, and then I had to explain to them that I have no idea what I'm doing because I've never fucking, one, held a cigarette, or two, even know how to smoke properly. So I had to be taught how to fucking like inhale and exhale smoke properly. And yeah, the first time I was trying to do it, I was just not prepared for the burn that your lungs feel.
Well,
Especially.
To be fair, you did have the end of it, which is the shit bit. Your lungs are gonna burn when you have the end bit.
Yeah, that's a good way to get someone introduced to it, isn't it? Here, have the fucking shit.
Why
end.
would you give the good stuff to the newbie?
I don't know. Get him invested. Hook him.
Nah, you give him the shit stuff.
What a good first
that-
experience.
That one was laced with green tea as well.
Oh, epic! I didn't know that.
It's not the only time in this story you were kind of an afterthought.
Oh, yeah, fucking bro. But yeah. Also, as I think about the third or fourth inhale, I guess I inhaled wrong, and I just threw up in my mouth, and then just like while still the people are in conversation, I just would throw up my mouth and just spat it out. And looking around the table, no one fucking noticed. I just fall into a tactical vomit
We were all
while
a bit,
at the chair.
We were all a bit gone at that point, so
Almost like you're high.
Very. I think I was on the ground somewhere, wasn't I? Just laying on the beanbag outside.
Oh yeah, probably. But yeah, I don't know.
I think no, actually, you were really into crypto at that time, and you were upstairs
Oh yeah, that's
for like
right.
the whole
That
night.
was earlier in the night, though.
That was like when all
I
that
mean, that
stuff
was
was
throughout
going
the-
on with the coins and
the
whatever. I don't
crypto.
know.
Yeah.
The crypto was earlier in the night when you guys were down here doing karaoke with the trying to play karaoke on the
yeah,
on
that's
the
true.
Oh,
whatever it was,
yeah.
the phone app for karaoke.
Oh yeah,
Was
that's
that wasn't the same night?
Yeah,
Because
it
we were
was.
over their place, and
Wasn't
then we
that-
came
no,
here
wasn't that
later.
here?
That wasn't New Year's.
no, I don't know.
That
if
was
that
late.
New
That was
Year's.
like January sort of time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Then
Yeah.
what were you doing inside? Oh no, that was when you were watching the Japanese videos, wasn't it?
Japanese videos.
oh, it
The
doesn't
drum
really
machine
matter.
videos, the drum game videos.
Oh, how can you not
Oh.
remember anything that happens in this story? But somehow I remember watching those weird videos.
Fucking
That's
A.
just how
Anyway.
my brain works.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, yeah. By like 3 a.m., I was just like, I don't know if I'm high or tired. And I'm just like, I'm struggling to just stay up straight. And I just went to bed. And then that was my first experience, maybe being high or smoking weed. And yeah, still to this day, I mean, look, there's another incident that happens later. I'll talk about later, but yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Don't, weed ain't for me. The whole, the whole thing of like, and I kind of had that epiphany, I guess, of just like, why do people smoke weed? And then someone said like, oh, to calm yourself. And then I'm like, oh, there's not many times where I'm not calm and I don't have weird thoughts or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, oh, why do I even bother with this then? Not for me. Waste of money. Don't do drugs, kids. Or maybe, I don't know. You're your own person. Anyway, so then we cross-dressed.
That was the very next day, actually.
Was it?
This is how many times we hung out with people. It's like New Year's Eve, and then New Year's Day we went to someone's house, and yeah, we put some dresses on of the fellow group members. Some of us look better than others.
Some of us could be straight femboys if they put in the effort.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was built for that. It's kind of hard to get a description of it, but I have like perfectly straight hair and quite androgynous features, so it works for me. I could pull it off. I could get an OnlyFans, I think.
I mean, probably, yeah, to be honest. But yeah, there is a picture that will never see the light of day, specifically to you guys, of all the boys in the group that are just in dresses that the girls owned
I
at
mean,
this
why
place.
not? Why not? You blur our faces. You use it as a
No.
thumbnail.
No.
No way.
That'd be
Reverse
funny.
image search exists. No.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm also careful about that a lot of the time. Of like, I'll post a picture on Mr. Green Tech's social media and try to not post it on my personal stuff as well.
Just because you
So they
don't look
reverse
great.
stuff. Huh?
Just because you guys don't look
That's,
great.
I mean,
You're
yeah.
just jealous, okay?
I don't know if I'm jealous of just how feminine you looked in a dress and how much. If you just straight cut, because you also had like your hair was longer, I think, at that point.
Yeah, it
and you
was
had
a
it,
shoulder
like, in
length.
ponytail a bit.
Yeah.
And if you just look from the behind, you just look like an old girl because you just had your Vans on too.
Yeah, it was a look, honestly.
Yeah, it was a bit of a look. Just bring that back.
Don't know. My hair's a lot shorter now.
Yeah.
Sort of past that. I'd rather not be confused for a woman all the time, which is a weekly occurrence for
Well,
me,
you've
by
shaved-
the way.
You've shaved your beard now. You look a lot younger.
By something of a beard. I wouldn't call it a beard, but yeah, no. I cut my hair. My hair's gotten shorter and shorter, so I don't think the lady look's coming back anytime soon.
I don't know if there's really anything else to say other than the from that night, other than like, yeah, we cross-dressed. We also dot pointed everything out of the stuff we wanted to talk about, just because there is a lot of just dumb shit.
We've recounted this to a couple people, and it took like 2 hours to get through, and so
Yeah,
hopefully it won't drag on so much.
I think we're making good progress so far. The next dot point we have is everyone horny / fucking as well.
Maybe
Everyone?
everyone horny,
everyone.
horny, but not everyone fucking. I think
Yeah.
is fair to say.
Yeah, oh yeah, true. Everyone horny, but not everyone fucking. So I don't have that much to talk about in this regard. Some others probably have more to talk about. in that regard. If they do want to say anything about that.
What should I say? I mean,
I'll just be honest.
Yeah.
What happened?
I
Yeah.
can't.
But bleep that out.
Beep.
Said his name.
Oh, he said mine.
I know,
earlier
yeah, I
as well.
said his name
He
as
said
well.
he's very
Oh,
both.
I'm gonna have to listen back to this.
Yeah,
Fuck.
you will have
Damn
to.
it!
He said mine earlier, and I remembered it. So
Fuck.
I cannot.
It was a bit. Look at the timestamp and then go back a bit for him.
If I just fuck. All right, I guess it'd be one of these podcasts we're gonna have to listen back once as people accidentally say names. Damn it.
That probably won't be the only time that happens.
Oh yeah, we're gonna slip and say one of their names too, probably. Fuck. Okay.
You actually should though do a double check just in case we have said it and we
Yeah.
didn't know. So make sure you listen through.
No,
Please.
I 100% will.
So far, it's just those two instances.
Well, we might have slipped our mind. We don't know. So just
Oh,
be careful.
hold on, my mechanic is calling me. 1 minute. 1 minute. Woo! Yeah, I'm guessing I have to do editing the podcast anyway now. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, some people fucking more than others. I don't know. Yeah, the group was known to be very horny towards each other. There was a lot of sexual tension between people. Some more so than others.
Which one was the first instance? I honestly can't remember.
Oh,
I don't know, by the way, that you should go into too much detail, just with respect to people
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
For the little respect I have for these people, I think maybe discount some of the details,
Right.
perhaps. I think it's fair.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, maybe briefly, just like, but, you know.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say that
Well, I think we've implied,
your roommate got frisky with a few people there.
yeah. And then didn't.
Well, that's all right. It's a sentiment that's shared, so...
Actually, leading into that, we had Hottest 100 Day, also known as Australia Day.
Invasion Day.
Invasion Day. We went round to one of the people's parents' houses who was basically just a fucking mansion up in like a really hilly like suburb, and they had obviously like a pool and stuff, and had like a pool party. And basically, if you don't know what the Hottest 100 is, every year a radio channel called Triple J just does like the top 100 songs of the year, and they're all like voted by people. And it's like a thing that's a tradition in Australia to listen to it and see
have a
what
barbecue or sit around a pool.
yeah, have
for
like
the
a
afternoon.
barbecue, and because everyone's eager to hear what those top 10 are, and if your favorite song made it up to the top. And yeah, spoilers, the song was just that also made the top.
I don't think I'd even heard it before.
No, neither had I. There was like
Really?
Spacey
I
Jane,
can't remember
think.
what it was,
The
but
top
I feel
song?
like it was not
Yeah.
memorable at
Was
all.
it Justin Bieber or something?
I don't think
I
so.
want to say Glass Animals.
Oh, maybe. I think it might have been Glass Animals.
Yeah.
We haven't found that out later, but anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, the Hottest 100 party. There was where do I start with this? There was Jungle Juice that happened a couple times.
It's not the first time that happened actually.
Not the first time. Did that happen before or after?
No, because
this?
I'd already done it. So it was my first go with Jungle Juice, and me and your roommate were round someone's house, and we did Jungle Juice before like a round of Mario Kart. It's actually quite fun, to be honest. But yeah, that was the second time. There's also with these people as well that story. But anyway,
If you don't know as well, because I certainly did not know fucking what Jungle Juice was. It was described.
what's
But-
the name for it actually?
Oh, it's some chemical name.
Leather cleaner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically like boot shiner. Like,
It was described to me by a gay man as something to loosen your asshole. And it gives you a rush to your head and a bit of a headache afterwards.
Which head?
Eduardo Estos.
¿Por qué no los dos?
Whatever the Spanish thing of that
What
is.
did you say?
Eduardo Estos.
Eduardo Estos.
Who's Eduardo? How's he gotten in here?
Bro, I'm Australian. There ain't no Mexicans here.
¿Por qué no los dos?
No one speaks Spanish here, man.
Parlez-vous français?
That's not Spanish.
Oui.
That's not true. I work with someone who speaks Spanish.
Yeah, but it's not as frequent as it is like in America.
Go to one GYG.
They're not even Mexican.
They are.
It's not
They
even
speak.
owned by
They
Mexicans.
speak. They speak. Most of the staff there are Spanish speakers.
You're kidding.
100%. No, I've gone to loads. I've gone to loads. I'm not even joking. And there's the one near me is all Spanish speakers. Anyway, it's not really relevant. But rant about GYG.
Anyway, many loose arseholes were had. I also did not have any there. Yeah, it was Glass Animals. Heat Waves was the top 100 song of that day. Yeah, so these guys were doing loose arsehole juice around the pool while I was sitting in there, you know. Oh, this was after the other main story as well, I'm realizing, because I had my hair bleached and I did not want to go into the pool.
You should. Oh, yeah. Maybe get into that after.
Yeah, I'll get into that in a minute.
That
But
was
yeah,
before, yeah.
so I had my hair bleached, blonde, and like literally less than a week before, so I didn't want it to turn green from the chlorine, so I was just like sitting on the side of the pool, like dangling my legs in, drinking Mountain Dew.
You were really out of it that day because you just played like Mario Kart or something, Smash Bros. Inside later.
Oh yeah, so
You
yeah,
put it
well,
there.
all these guys
You don't
were like,
drink, you don't do anything, so.
yeah, well, you know,
What a nerd, jeez.
yeah, look, I like to remember things.
Do you though?
Yeah, I do.
Would you have rather like to remember things?
Something
Yeah.
else happened to you as well.
Yeah, well,
Are you-
we'll
No,
on
that
that day?
that incident, the bathroom.
Oh, fuck.
Are you gonna?
yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk about that. But
Yeah.
it gets into legal territory.
Yeah, look,
Maybe you can brush over it.
maybe kind of sexual assault. Basically, while everyone was like pissed off their faces, I'm the only. Oh no, I wasn't the only sober one. There's also another guy, L, who was also sober. Who also just throughout that day, I was just like watching him play Pokemon, destroying him in Smash, and playing Mario Kart while they're off, you know, doing all their degenerate things. I wander off to the bathroom, and one of them comes out. Well, someone is in there before me, and then I knock on it and like, oh, someone's in here, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just wait here. And then they walk out, and they're immediately like less than an inch away from my face, and they immediately try to intimidate me, and they just go, "Hey, how you going?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, alright." And she made it her thing that day for whatever reason that she wanted to kiss everyone at the party. Every guy and every girl, and I kept just being like, no, I don't want to kiss you.
He's a soft boy.
Yeah, sure, I'm a soft boy. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to be kissed. And yeah, she just gets real close. She's like, you want to kiss me? And I'm like, no, not really. And then she just does anyway. And then she's like, yeah, how was that? And I'm like, I mean, your lips were soft, but I did say no. And she's like, oh, okay. And then fucking off she went. And I'm like, did I just get sexually assaulted here?
This same person, by the way, is like a progressive warrior. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just think that the hypocrisy is funny.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the first time I'd had anything like that happen to me, and I'm like, huh, that's and I didn't even really think about that until like a couple days later. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck, that's a thing that happened to me. Yeah, it does happen to guys. There you go. I mean, look, I wasn't. Yeah, look, I'm not gonna get into it much further than that. Some other people got into some other stuff, though. These two made out. That was funny.
I made out with a few people.
Yeah.
I found out that your roommate is puts both the hands behind the head when he kisses you, which is interesting.
I'm passionate.
It's very
Jake,
forceful.
yeah.
There was also a lot of people eating a lot of pea crisps that day.
Pea crisps.
Yeah, and the reason I remember that is because I remember kissing people and tasting it in their mouths.
What?
What the
Pea?
fuck?
Pea
One of the
crisps?
people
The
really
hell's a
liked
pea crisp.
pea crisps. Are like those kind of like they're like fried or sort of are they fried sort of like pea pods, and you eat them like they're chips. No, they're actually pretty good.
Don't know.
They're a bit salty.
Anyway, some other stuff happened in the pool while I was playing Mario Kart as well. I don't know if anyone wants to talk about that.
It's just I got very sunburnt in that pool, kissing someone for a long time.
Like
Very,
a
very
long time. Like playing Mario Kart, finishing it, walking outside and being like, fucking hell, are they still at it? what the hell? Uh, yeah, that was a funny perspective to just be like, what is happening out there? Just yeah.
Great memories.
bumping
Great,
and
great
grinding.
memories.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Anyway,
No, wait.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who's that?
oh, it's gonna be so much editing in this fucking podcast.
Your
Damn
ru-
it.
your roommate touched my dick in that pool as well.
Hey, you enjoyed it, right?
Someone else touched my dick, and someone else touched your dick as well, I think. If I remember correctly. There was a lot of dicks being touched in that pool.
Yeah. There was
Except mine.
a lot of everything being touched in that pool.
Well, you didn't want your lips being touched, so
No.
you're not going to want your dick being touched, are you?
Probably not, no. Not by really any of those people. Anyway, before this, and also one of my favourite stories to tell, as it is known as the famous cuck story. And so I mentioned briefly before about my hair getting bleached. This all started with myself. I wanted to get my hair. I'd always dyed my hair black for ages, but I didn't want to straight go to blonde because I thought that might be too much of a shift. I wanted to go like a light brown. I thought that might look kind of cool. So I was buying a bunch of box dye. None of it was working. And I put it in the chat, and one of the girls was just like, "Hey, stop what you're doing. Let me sort it out." And I'm like, "Okay, you know what you're doing. You're a female. You probably work with your hair."
You know what you're doing? You're,
You're
a
a
female.
What do you mean? Yeah, females no.
Well, apparently
Well.
not, actually.
Yeah. So before I know it, it's a whole fucking group event. Apparently, that my hair is getting has to go through all these rigorous stuff. First, it has to go through a color remover to get through all the box dye, and then it has to get bleached because it's still currently very dark and it probably has a little bit of black left over still. And so before I know it, there's probably about like 6 or 7 people around my place as my my hair is getting bleached, and my god, I'd never been a more painful experience than that time.
There's some funny videos of that.
Because
And the live stream.
oh
that's
yeah,
true. That's true.
you tried to live stream it for a little bit too. Cause yeah, she'd mix it up and then just like lather up my head like it's shampoo essentially, and then just put Glad wrap around it, and we did that like 3 times. And if you don't know how bleach works, you put it on in pieces and try not to get it on your scalp because it is chemicals and it will chemically burn your scalp. And so I was just wandering around the fucking place, like bashing my legs because I'm in so much pain. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm in pain. This hurts. It shouldn't hurt." Just like, "Oh, stop being such a pussy about it." And I'm like, I don't know if this is how what should be happening with my head right now. Do that like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, that went on for hours. We finished at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, we
by the way.
finished for ages. So another one of the girls who doesn't own a car, she took public transport all the way, I won't say the suburb, but it was like a hour and a half, I'd say, public transport, walked all the way to our place, showed up at like 11 p.m., 12 a.m., and she immediately just walks up and then just passes out of my bed essentially after saying hi to everybody. So we're just like, "Where'd she go?" And look at my bedroom. She's just on my bed asleep, and I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And yeah, by the 3rd time I think of round of my head getting bleached, it gets to the point where I just get angry, and I'm like, "All right, this isn't staying in my head any longer because I'm feeling violent because I'm just being in this much pain for that much longer." So I literally just shoved her out, washed it all out. And then decided that, fuck it, I'm in so much pain, I'm just going to keep the blonde hair for now. And since then, I never did end up getting my hair completely light brown. Maybe I might do eventually, but I decided to just keep the blonde, and so I just had the blonde for ages. Meanwhile, it's like 12 a.m., like I said, or like 2 a.m. or whatever. People are getting tired, they're going home. The girl that was bleaching my hair, she's been there since like 7. She'd been there like 5 hours sorting out shit. She leaves as well. The girl who got here was still asleep. And we're just like, "Oh, what the hell are we going to do with her?" We're just like, "Is she sleeping?" Well, for starters, where is she sleeping? Is she sleeping in my bed with me since she's already there? I don't know, is that weird? She eventually wakes up and we set her up downstairs on the couch. She tells us that she has to leave in the morning because she has to like help her parents pack because her parents are moving out and she's taking over the house and renting it and stuff. She's like, oh yeah, don't be surprised, I might be gone in the early morning. We're like, okay, cool, yeah, no worries. Wake up at like 10 a.m. because I was just fucked from the night before. Walk downstairs and I completely forgot about her, to be honest. And she's still down here and she's like, oh hey, and I'm like, oh hey, you're still here. I forgot you were here. And just hanging out for a while until like 11 a.m. or so. She's like, hey, do you want me to order us lunch? And I'm like, oh, sure, I guess. And so for lunch/breakfast, she just Uber Eats us some snack packs. And we're just sitting there eating snack packs when finally my roommate emerges at like 12 p.m., like 1 p.m., and just sees us like eating the snack packs. Hanging out there for a while longer. So that thought still lingers in my head of just like, didn't you say she was going to leave early in the morning to go help her parents pack? Still here at like 3 p.m. I guess to the point then of she's like, oh yeah, I'm probably going to go back to my parents now to do the thing that I said I was going to do earlier in the morning. But you guys are welcome to come back to mine and hang around while I pack. And meanwhile, at this point too, for whatever reason, I mean, the escapades of my roommate was already, pretty well known at this point. Well, I wasn't gonna say straight sexcapades, but
Well, no, it was because this was the first instance, wasn't it?
what do you mean by that?
This is
Well, I mean, it was a meme about how horny you were a lot of the time.
okay.
No, that was the second instance.
No, it wasn't. The
It
second.
was. It
'Cause
was.
The other one was.
It was before that.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember. So long ago.
So it's still this year.
Yeah, it's a long
It was
time.
a
A lot,
long
a lot
time
has
ago.
happened
Yeah.
this year, right?
Yeah. Anyway, just to stir him up, she just goes to me. I almost said my name. Hey, do you want to see my nudes? And I'm like, sure. And then like a minute, she just scrolls through her phone and then just like shows me like a tasteful nude. She's like sitting down on the floor with like dimly lit room in front of like the mirror with like the breezy curtains, and she's got her shirt off and titties are hanging out. And she shows me, and I don't really know what to say, so I'll just go, yeah, nice.
That's what you say.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, nice. I don't know what to say. When a girl says, hey, you want to see my nudes? Yeah. Nice tits, love. I don't know. What do you say
Thanks,
to
bro.
What do you say to that? Thanks, bro.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, bro. Nice
That
tits.
looks sick.
Yeah. And yeah, so when she said like, "Hey, want to come back to mine?" When a girl shows you her nudes, there is a part of my brain of like, maybe there is something here, and that part
There's
of
a
my
chance.
my ape brain went, "There's a chance," and so I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay." And so we all go back to her place. We wander around. She makes us dinner. There's a quick aside where Mr. Horny himself is also talking to a person who I won't say because that might dox them.
Which person? I don't
Olympian.
remember. Oh, Olympian.
Yeah.
She
I
was
think
a-
it's
she was an
safe to say
Olympian.
an Olympian. Yeah, that wouldn't be too much. Yeah, he was talking to an Olympian, and
You wait before you say that. You're making him out like he's some nega chad, like he's amazing looking.
yeah.
What do you mean? Am I not now?
No, you're a fucking GTA NPC.
As someone told me, is that the reason why people like him is because he's so vacant of a personality. You can project whatever you like onto him,
Hey,
so you can make up whatever image you
it
would like of
works.
him.
It works.
It works.
For
You just have
whatever
no
reason.
personality.
That's fine. Don't need one.
for whatever fucking reason. And so as she's making dinner, he's like, "Hey guys, look at this," and just shows us a Snapchat of this Olympian chick asking to make an OnlyFans with him.
Yep.
And
She was asking me to choose out some lingerie for her.
yeah, and I'm just like, what is happening right now? And so eat dinner, we go back downstairs, we're watching some YouTube videos. She and then she busts out like, "Hey, you want to play some Spider-Man on PS4?" And I'm like, "Oh, actually, I don't own a PS4. I haven't played that Spider-Man game before." Sure, sounds like fun. So we're playing that for a little bit. It's really fun, And then as we're doing that, she suddenly asks like, "Oh, I might get some weed. We can smoke that.
Delivered to the
Delivered
house.
to the house. As she hits up a dealer on Snapchat. Next thing I know, there's this fucking sketchy cunt sticking his head through the door, just been like, "Hello," and literally has like a Coles baggie of weed. As she goes and like digs out something from like her fucking cupboard and just hands a bunch of 50s
I want to
over.
know what the delivery guy was thinking, because there was two dudes in her bed, and he came in the bedroom and saw us in there.
Yeah.
So.
One guy in fucking Spider-Man, or the other two.
Yeah.
And so it's also, it was known in the group that, I'm the sober one, don't really do drugs, don't really drink alcohol.
Good Christian.
And so, the good Christian boy, a good trad husband, if you will. And so she kind of just immediately assumes, oh, he doesn't want to do it, but roommate over here though. So she's just like, hey, we're just gonna go smoke weed in the bathroom, and I'm like, that's fine. I've got Spider-Man here. I'm gonna play this. I'm having fun, I'm swinging through the city. Woo! I'm having a fucking
Friendly
time of my
neighborhood
life.
Spider-Man.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Enjoying the game. I'm there for like 20 minutes, half an hour, and by then I can, they've got the door closed in the bathroom. They've got the exhaust fan on, but I can still smell the weed. And then I get, a bit of that FOMO. I'm like, oh, maybe I do want to smoke weed. And so I pop the game down. Open the door, and I just see them both on either end of the tub with their like legs stretched out against each other. I'd never seen this cunt so high in his life. He had the whole pink glazed over eyes too, kind of a bit squinty.
It was strong.
Yeah. And I walk in and it's just like, oh, hey. And literally just that like stereotypical like high person voice as well. And maybe I was just like, oh, hey, bro, what you doing? And I'm like, oh, I just smoke a bit of weed with you. And they were smoking it out of a fucking, not a bong, not a joint, but like that little fucking pipe thing. Which I still half figuring out how to use a fucking joint properly. And so they're just trying to show me how to smoke it from a pipe too. And they're like, oh, you light this down here. And I'm just getting like crispy, even like worse shit than last time.
You're just burning it.
I was just burning it, just inhaling burnt shit, essentially. And I'm hacking and coughing. And meanwhile, because she's half moving out, she doesn't really have anything to really, give me to go to, drink from, sorry. I'm drinking a Coke, I'm a bit bubbly. And so I just, I go grab a plastic wine glass and come back into the bathroom. And so between hits from this fucking pipe, I'm drinking water from this wine glass on the bathroom floor.
Fancy.
While these two guys are in the tub. And I'm sitting there. And for the first time, I start to feel high. And I'm like, ooh, my brain is warm. Is this what high feels like? And I'm like, ooh, my body's beginning to feel heavy. Is this what being high feels like? And that's when I'm just like, yeah, my brain's warm, my body's heavy, but am I supposed to feel anything else? They're like, oh, you're not calm? And I'm like, oh, I'm always calm usually, though. And I'm like, that's when I'm just like, oh, why the fuck did I do this? Damn it. We're there for a little bit longer, and then the girl messages like, oh, let's just go back to the bedroom and just veg out there for a while. And I'm like, alright, cool, yeah, sick. We go back there, play a bit more Spider-Man. And then she brings up, oh, we need to sort out sleeping arrangements now. There's a couch upstairs, and there's also the bed down here. And then both my roommate and I just kind of just look at each other, and no one says anything or, suggests anything. And then it's kind of just that, mutual knowledge, and just like, I want to sleep down here with
Yeah.
with the girl.
Yeah.
And so nothing really happens there for a bit until she just goes, hey, me and roommate are just going to go upstairs and move the couch out because it was up against the wall upstairs. We're just going to move the couch out and come back down. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, that's no worries. So they go upstairs. The cat is meowing. As they're upstairs, there's only one down there. The cat has separation anxiety, as well. Like 10 minutes pass, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. I haven't heard any like shuffling yet. 20 minutes pass, and I'm like, oh, I must be really struggling. And then like
It's a heavy couch.
like 25, 30 minutes pass, and then my high brain starts to fade a bit, and I'm like, oh, I know what's happening upstairs. Fuck that bastard. That fuck. And meanwhile, the cats came into the room, I'm stroking at least some sort of pussy that night. While they're upstairs, doing each other, presumably, from my perspective downstairs. And I'm like, fucking hell, damn it, this sucks. I drove all the way here. I had a girl show me her nudes and everything. What the fuck is this shit, bro?
So entitled.
Yeah, so entitled, and so I'm just like, fuck this, it's like half an hour, 35 minutes past. I'm like, whatever, they're sorting out their shit upstairs, whatever, I'm going to sleep. I turn off all the lights, turn off the music, cuddle up next to the cat, as well. And then, I fucking turn over, I start texting, scared a friend. I'm just like, I can't believe he did this to me. Is it a dick move to leave him right now? But then I'm like, fuck, I can't leave. I'm high. Damn it, I can't leave. The one time I actually feel high, I don't want to drive like the 40-minute drive home. And meanwhile, it's just like, oh yeah, that's kind of a dick thing to do, bro. Basically just Ubered him all the way there just so we could fuck. And I'm like, yeah,
none of this was planned. Remember,
Still did it. Still did it.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Oh, God, I know his name again.
So much editing of this fucking podcast. Damn it. Yeah, so I'm just, I've just been like, fucking hell, this sucks. Life sucks, bro. And then I hear the door open and then people coming back downstairs. And I'm like, there's no way I'm giving up this bed right now. I'm just going to pretend that I'm asleep. And then I just hear oh no, he's in the middle of the bed. And I'm like, oh no, surely not.
All of this is the girl saying this. Just let's get that straight.
And I just hear, just move him. And I'm like, surely they're not going to try this right now, are they? And then I feel someone touch my foot. I'm still very much awake. I'm just pretending to be asleep because I'm trying to hold my ground here. And I groggily
hold.
Hold position.
Diamond hands.
And I groggily turn over and I'm just like, yeah? And she's just like, hey. And I'm just like, I literally just say, yeah, I just assumed y'all were fucking, so I just went to sleep down here. And then she just says, yeah, we wanted the bed for sex, bro. And I'm like, oh, come on, kicking a man while he's down here.
Actually, can I just say, we've got the story wrong.
Yeah, I noticed that
a little bit. Basically, we hadn't slept together yet at this point. We came back down because my wallet was downstairs.
Because then she just says, yeah, the condom is down here. Yeah. Magnum condom. But just for reference, it is an audio medium. My skater friend just handed me a Trojan condom that one of you cunts sent me as well. They've just been floating around my fucking apartment space for ages now, and many people have seen them, and it's kind of funny to me, especially the gay porn mags. Thanks for that, by the way. So yeah, they rightfully just like, I think you grab your wallet. I don't really know.
Yeah.
They head back upstairs. I'm just like, all right, surely now they're not coming back down again. Like 20 minutes pass. I hear the door again. They come back downstairs, and they come back into the room, and she says like, oh, I felt bad leaving you down here as we've been upstairs. Do you want to just like sleep outside the room? And I'm like, no, I don't want to sleep outside the room while I hear you guys fucking do stuff. This sucks. Fuck off. I get the bed at least. There's a consolation. Just like, yeah, that's fair. And so, meanwhile, she has no other place for roommate to sleep at this point. And so, she takes the other side of the bed. And meanwhile, she has like her depression corner of her room where she just has like a 1/2 meter high pile of dirty clothes or clean clothes. I can't remember.
They were clean, yeah, they were clean.
Clean clothes. And she just like topples them over and spreads them out and just goes, there you go, sleep on that. And meanwhile, it's just like, oh yeah, fair enough. I'll sleep on that. And so, I think I text skater friend again. I'm just like, yeah, fucking, they came back down together. This sucks. I'm gonna leave in the morning. And it's just like, yeah, that's a good idea to leave. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna leave. Meanwhile, the girl sets an alarm because it turns out her priest father is coming home in the morning to pick up some stuff, and we might have to leave because don't know what he will think seeing two guys in her bedroom in the morning. And so the alarm goes off, and then she immediately turns it off and does not get up at all. And I'm like, cool, I'm awake now. These guys are still both completely fucking passed out. And I'm like, alright, now's my chance. I get up out the room, I step back over him to fucking collect all my shit. I go to walk out the door. The door's fucking locked. I'm like, oh, that's fine, I'll just use the flick switch to, get back outside. Nope, it's key locked, and I can't flick it out. Now I'm on a fucking side quest to go find the fucking key to leave this fucking house. And so I gotta tiptoe inside the room while this cunt's spread out across their, like, fucking clothes
The
on the
bedroom
floor.
was tiny.
It was a tiny bedroom, too. And so I'm just, like, tiptoeing around him not to step on him to try and find these fucking keys. And then, like, 10 minutes later, I finally find them, like, buried in this bowl here. Get back to the door, unlock it. Her cat is at my feet now, meowing to go back outside. And I'm like, oh, please, no, that's the last thing I need right now. I'm trying to shove it back a little bit with my foot. I open the door. It decides now's the time. I could be free, and makes a fucking beeline. And half of its body gets out the door, and I'm like, absolutely not. And I just fucking grab the cat by a tail and just fucking throw it back inside.
And you know why that cat wanted to escape? Because she stole that cat, by the way. She literally, I'm not even joking.
Did she
That-
tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She stole that cat from presumably a neighbour. So I'm not surprised that cat wants to go.
Jesus.
And then after that, I promptly made my way, the 40-minute drive back home of just, my life sucks, bro. I just Ubered my fucking mate to a route. This sucks. I get home, get a couple of messages from the people in the group, just like, yeah, that's real dog, what he did to you. And I'm like, yeah, this sucks. This sucks, bro. And meanwhile, I think, how did she get home?
So I had to get an Uber to a train station, and then a train to one station, and then from that station back home.
Yeah.
That
So
would've been
two
a
trains
long
and an
commute.
Uber.
Yeah. Which I think was fair, but even
Yeah,
then,
it was
when,
definitely warranted.
when I was on the toilet when you got home, and the first thing I just hear is just "fuck you," and I'm just like, "Hang on a minute, I think you came up on top here, you bastard." Yeah, that's the famous cuck story.
It's out there now, finally.
Yeah, finally out there. Been holding it off for this long.
Woo!
Woo! And that's just been one of our favorite inside joke memes of just, if you're enjoying something. Because whenever I tell the story, that's just the thing that, for whatever reason, I include. It's like, you're playing Spider-Man, swinging through the things. Woo! I'm Spider-Man. Woo! But it has to be said in that high-pitched tone, too. Woo! So we're going to run through this quick, because we don't have that much time left before people got to get to work and shit. After that was the Mount
That
Coot-tha.
follows the D&D thing.
So we also... I
You
played
have to speed through
I
this.
played D&D for the first time. There was just a one-shot campaign that one of the guys was running with this group plus another extra person. And it was pretty fun. Got to make my own character. I was a half-orc barbarian called Grog. Was basically just like a fantasy version of going through Fortitude Valley, going through all the taverns and that sort of stuff, and it was fun. However, there were a person was 5 gin and tonics deep, and towards the end of the campaign, just became almost what's the word? I wouldn't say like she was very irritable and very much just like she also just got separated from the party at one point.
She's very drunk.
She was very drunk.
Extremely, like 10 or 11,
Yeah, and she's
12
very much
drinks.
just like, why can't I just be with other people and just be fun? Just like, well, that would kind of just ruin the game, and just like, but no, I want to do it my way. Very much just sort of just like her way or the highway, and that was just how she was as a person. And I guess that just got exacerbated as she got drunk. And then so we get to the end of the campaign, we finally come back together in the tunnel, and we get to the final boss, and she's half over it because she's still half just kind of mad at the world. I don't know really why, to be honest. Maybe, I don't know, I probably would be too if I was her, to be honest. And so we get to the final boss, and the DM just starts explaining. I'm just like, yeah, you have 2 choices. You can fight, or you can join us. And she just goes, we'll join, that's the end of the game. And I'm just like, hold on, this is our first time playing D&D. We want to do the final boss. We want to, get a good ending to this thing at least. And she's like, no, that's it. We finished. We joined. That's the end. And then she just does her block, and then that's kind of the end of that. We all just kind of want to play, and she just walks off. And we're just like sitting there, and he's just like, well, I guess that's the end of them.
He set this. It took him like 2 weeks to set that campaign
Yeah,
up.
it took him 2 weeks, and he just did a block, and then that was the fucking end of it.
This was his partner that ruined the game, by the way.
Oh yeah, they were dating at this point too, which is very funny. And so we're just like, oh well.
Just witnessed a domestic.
Yeah,
like,
and so
basically.
so we're hanging back. We're just like, okay, well, I guess it's the end of that. Skater friend and I, we're just hanging out on the couch. The DM just goes and wanders off into her bedroom, and we can just hear them like arguing.
It was really fucking awkward. Like, it's one of those. It's like when you go over to a friend's house and the parents start arguing, and you're just like sitting there. It was really awkward.
Yeah, and so we're just sitting there as like mum and dad are essentially fighting off in the other room, and we're just like, well, do we leave? What's the go here? I think we do kind of leave not long after. Oh no, no, we don't leave after that. So everyone kind of comes back together, and then someone just suggests, hey, let's go to Mount Coot-tha Lookout.
I think that might have been me, probably.
It
It was really late, by the way, at this point.
Yeah, and at this point, I also did not have a car. And it was like 2, 3 a.m. at this point, and I'm like, oh man, I'm tired. I just want to go to bed. But I'm 40 minutes away from my house. My roommate does not want to go home.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking hell. I think at one point I just say to Skater friend, was like, hey, I will pay you $20 if you drive me home right now. Which I think you were willing to do, but we all ended up just going to Mount Coot-tha Lookout. And, was really cool. I hadn't been there before. It has probably one of the best views overlooking Brisbane city skyline, and you can see like a lot out there, and I hadn't seen it before. And so, while everyone's kind of mingling and doing all this shit, I'm still just kind of half just like, oh, fucking hell. I just want to go to bed, bro, but I can't. But I'm stuck here on Mount Coot-tha, just looking at stuff. And so I just literally space out for about an hour and a half looking at the skyline.
Yeah, I remember we were sitting on a kind of a bench, a few benches behind this railing that you were kind of just leaning over, and a lot of us were just saying, is he all right? Like, what's going on there? And I took a great picture of you. I don't know if you can include it, but I took a great picture
I
of
might
you.
include it.
Great picture of you just kind of like, spacing out.
Yeah, just spacing out. Just like looking at the skyline. And I think the girl who also cucked me as well did come up to me at one point. She's like, hey, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, just in deep thought, bit of depression moment in it. And she's like, oh yeah, that's fair. And then eventually just wanders off back there.
I feel like, like this that group kind of had a lot of like turbulent emotions with it. It was like just like a roller coaster all the time. It was kind of exhausting. So, I mean, things were happening all the fucking time with those people. So yeah, I'm not surprised really.
There was also, I think it was towards the end of the group as well, where we would try to organize a thing, and like 2 or 3 people just said like, hey, I'm really depressed tonight and I don't want to go out. And that was the end of it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And that was one of the downfalls of just like, okay, the spontaneity is gone. This group is going
It just
down.
fizzled out. Like, people just, weren't interested.
Yeah. But also, a thing to mention as well is that the girl who we'd been skating with as well, that I mentioned in the New Year's story, she said she was looking for work and whatever the hell, and I mentioned like all of them knew about my YouTube channel, so like I said, some of them very much might be listening to this, but one of them was editing my audio at one point, because I have different editors now, but one of the girls, I'd pay them a certain amount of money, basically slave wages, to edit some stuff every week. But some of them were so down bad with money, she told me one week, she's like, oh, use that money you paid me this week to buy groceries. And I'm like, fucking hell, I didn't realize you were down that bad. But yeah, many people know, fucking hate editing audio. I've made 700 videos on this channel at this point. I'm over it. The fact I can just send it to an editor now and get the videos back is bliss. And I much enjoy recording now that I don't have to fucking edit it. So she was editing for me, and she'd been doing it for pretty much well over a month, I'd say, probably 2 months. And one of the last times, I messaged her like, hey, how you going editing this audio? She's like, oh, do you mind if I'm just gonna call him the DM does it this week, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Do I pay him or pay you? She's like, oh, that's fine. Just pay me, and I'll pass it on. I'm like, okay, cool. And they're all very much aware that I say the N word in my recordings. They just have to edit it out, and I say a lot of fuck stuff. That's the big reason why I'm anonymous on the YouTube channel. But they're okay with it. They're aware of the context of everything. That I don't actually say the N word around my friends. I'm not really racist or any of that sort of stuff. They're aware of context. But she's okay with it, happily editing it. However, as I was mentioning before, the group kind of just fizzled out to a point. But it came to a head. I was out skating one day with my old mate here, and he just says, "Oh my god, look at the group chat," because that morning I thought nothing of it. You know how with Facebook you get those like, "Oh, this many years ago today, here's this post." I had one come up from my Facebook account that I had for years, and it was one of those dumb fucking things of just like girlfriend application meme, and just had like a bunch of just misogynist stuff of like, what's your breast size? What's your waist size? Are you blonde or are you exotic? And just like a bunch of dumb shit like that, which it was 8 years ago. So I would have been 14, 13 at the time, which is, checks out for that kind of style of humor. And so I screenshotted and made sure to include the 8 years ago today and just popped it in that chat and just like went, haha, with the context of like, fucking hell, that was my humor 8 years ago. Bloody hell, look how I've changed now. And we're out skating and it just says, oh my god, look at the group chat. And one of the members just put out this like brief sort of essay of just like, women are not objects. We're not there to please you. Why you gotta be so misogynistic? I think that's a good rundown of that message. And then she just left the group chat. Did anyone else really chime in with anything else, or did they just straight leave?
No, there was some other messages.
Did Hey Mate chime in?
Yeah, both him and his partner chimed in. They said something like, I don't know, it was just a really brief thing, like, yeah, that's not okay. Just
yeah.
Fucking left.
Yeah, and they both just kind of immediately left. We were just like,
Bit
wait
of an
a minute.
exodus going on.
Yeah, we're just like, what the fuck is happening? I think they were just very much looking for, oh, this is an outing. This person left. We can all fucking leave. And I'm just like, whoa, what the hell? What is happening here? Did I just destroy a friendship group with a fucking 8-year-old meme that apparently I cooked up that long ago? And yeah, before I know it, like 5 or 6 people just straight left the chat, and we're like, what the fuck just happened here? And so yeah, at that point we're just kind of confused, just like, is that really why they're leaving? Is because of dumb fucking meme like that?
I don't think it was the reason.
Yeah, long story short, it definitely was not the reason. A brief aside as well that I will mention as well, the hero thing that you did at one point.
Hero.
The hey was along with the hey mate meme.
You're gonna give away this gag if you explain it, but.
Oh yeah, I love the hey mate meme. Basically, the TLDR version is that one day my roommate just went hello. I don't think he even was
I wrote it in a chat.
I
didn't even say it. I just said H-A-R-O.
Wasn't really trying to be overly racist or whatever the fuck. Just dumb shit meme. And then went off at him, calling him racist and that sort of stuff.
This is a person, like, I'm a very progressive person as well, but this person is in a kind of different way. It's like that kind of mentality of like, I need to nip this in the bud now. Like, there's no room for sort of anything. That is the be all end all of it. And it was that we all had kind of run-ins with this person, and just like it was like their fight to bear every time something happened. Even if it didn't even remotely revolve them, they carried the sword into battle, and they were like, I'm gonna message this person, send a paragraph about why what you've done is wrong, this, that, and the other. And it was intense, man. It was too much.
Yeah, and so sent him a message saying just like, hey man, that's not okay, da 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 da. And he's just fucking confused, just like, what the hell? I just wrote a thing. I mean, I'm kind of putting words in your mouth, but that's...
Yeah. I mean, essentially, yeah. I wrote, HARO.
And then got a big thing just like, hey man, that's not okay.
Yeah.
And so, meanwhile, I tag the editor who's also in the chat. I'm just like, oh, wait till they find out about the stuff that you're editing. Just been like, haha, that's a funny inside meme. And so then he sends me a message just being like, hey man, no one says anything in the chat about that. Everyone moves on. Just like, hey, I thought it'd be weird. He sends me a message as well. Just been like, hey, I thought it'd be weird if I mentioned the thing he did, not you did, you know. I just, should you really say the N-word on a channel? And then just got into like a whole debate about it. And I'm just like, I've had this thing before. I will say it in the recording because it sounds better censored, and it's just, you know, the flow, it sounds better, blah, blah, blah. Basically, back down immediately as I just put my foot on the ground, which is very funny. He's very much the sort of person that will bring up stuff, but if you fight back, he'll immediately back down, which is very funny. But both of those messages started with, hey, mate. And so the meme is that whenever someone does something kind of dicey or sort of slightly racist, you just go,
A bit on
hey,
edge.
mate. Yeah, a bit on edge. Just go, hey, mate. Because that was the beginning of all those messages we got. So that happened. We had a separate skate group. I'm trying to wrap this up somewhat fast because we've got to get on with some other things. We had a skate group chat. The other girl was in it. She hadn't left that at that point. You know, we mentioned she started a new job at some other place that I won't mention. She still said she was down to go skating and that sort of stuff, you know, and we're like, oh, cool, you know, but it'd been like a couple weeks at that point. And then someone at some point mentioned just like, hey, it's really funny how everyone just kind of left that group chat. It's kind of like you basically put that meme in there and just Thanos snapped people out. And I went, that's very funny.
I said that.
Yeah, I'm going to turn that into a meme. And so I just recut the Endgame, the Infinity War meme with Thanos and put my face over it, and the girlfriend application meme as the snap. This video will never see the light of day because it doxes everybody, by the way.
It's got everybody's faces over different characters.
Yeah.
It's quite funny.
It's
to be
very
honest.
funny, you know, they all fade away when it goes away, you know.
It's supposed to be a light-hearted joke.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess the skater girl found out about it through another one of the other girls that never left the original chat. And then suddenly her like demeanor changed because we had this one inside joke where she pushes Mongo, which is like a strange way to push usually.
On a
And
skateboard,
on
that
a,
is.
on a
yeah.
on a skateboard. And you know, we'd always make that joke and she'd be like, haha, yeah. And then we made it one day and then she just like, her demeanor changed and just like, have you got nothing fucking better going on with your life? And we're like, whoa, what the hell's going on here? And then just suddenly went on and just like about being a misogynist and da 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 da. And before we know it, I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck is going on here? And we literally get like an essay. It's like hundreds of words. And she breaks each of us down. And this is where the Musketeer meme comes into play. We have myself. I get the title of the misogynist because of how I treat women with the girlfriend application meme. Skater Friend gets the title of the gaslighter for how
I think is an unreasonable sort of attribute to me. Is all I'll say.
yeah, well, no, that was the whole stipulation that we won't get into stuff. So who get into the podcast, sort of soft sort of thing. Things were sort of implied. She was oblivious. That's all I'll say. Okay, yeah. And then meanwhile, roommate was just the complicit.
I did nothing.
He was just, and then he was there too, and he said nothing, so fuck him. So we're just like, yeah, the three musketeers. We have the gaslighter, we have the misogynist, and the complicit. And so,
He changed all of our names in the group
yeah,
chat.
I immediately, as soon as she said that, I'm like, this is funny. This is our new titles for everything. Changed it, the Three Musketeers.
And
to
that was the thing, by the way, just quickly, is it every time they got upset, is that we didn't go along with what they wanted. It
Yeah.
was like we made a joke about every stupid little thing that they said, and that's what they hated, is that we took that power away from them.
Yeah, that chat that they all left, we just continued using it for memes.
Yeah, they
Especially
hate
afterwards.
that. They hate that you did that video. They hate that we kept using that chat. That at no point did we say, "Oh, I'm cower down to this, ridiculous like tyranny
Yeah.
over this group chat." And that's what they hate, especially one of the people who likes that power and they like to to weaponize it, and they hated that a lot of those people did not leave that chat, and we just took the piss out of them.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. You say something stupid, we can
Yeah.
take the piss out of you. Like, it's funny.
And the last thing I'll mention, because the roommate literally has to leave in about 2 minutes right now. The only reason I ever got added to the chat originally was was because they wanted to fuck my roommate, but they felt bad adding him to a thing and him going into stuff and not inviting me. So I was a pity invite at the end. And then
think about that as well. That's how he got added. I got added because I was his friend. So I'm like third removed from this, and I'm somehow implicated in all of this, which I find is very funny. And I think that's why it fizzled out, is because, yeah, people didn't want to hang out, but it was also that they only wanted to fuck. That was it. That was the only thing. There was no
that was the
great
origin of the whole
friendship
thing.
concurrent, and that's why they left. You know.
Yeah, that's pretty much the end of that. It very much literally has to. My roommate has to leave right now. He has other stuff he has to do right now. But yeah, that's the friendship podcast. I didn't get to questions. We won't have time to get through to it. I have to leave in about 30 seconds. I need to wrap this up real quick. Thank you so much for listening. If you did make it the whole way through this podcast, let me know by including the word "woo" in your comment.
Woo!
And then I'll leave you a little heart at the end and stuff. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. I'm gonna have to do a bunch of editing, and I'll catch you later, cunts. Goodbye.